We have a huge update on the potential reveal of the PlayStation 5 as well as Sony's E3 2020 plans. If you are the type of gamer that typically gets excited for E3, well, last year Sony wasn't a part of it. Well, it looks like this year as well, Sony might be skipping out on the big event to focus on their own reveal events and whatever the case may be on that. So we'll talk about all of that, but here's something really interesting. Everybody's been wondering, when is the PlayStation 5 reveal event going to happen? It's gonna be an event where it just is kind of sprung onto gamers at last minute. That's kind of what happened with the PlayStation 4 reveal event. It's not like there was months of build-up or anything like that, where Sony themselves were saying for months, hey, this is the day, get excited or whatever. It kind of just came together in the last minute, and that's kind of what's happening now. An experienced PlayStation event is taking place as PlayStation 5 reveal rumors are definitely heating up. On the quiet, Sony seems to have scheduled an interesting event in New York City named Experience PlayStation, taking place from the 14th of January to the 16th of February. It's a whole month window that'll allow you to experience PlayStation, and that's a significant window where I would imagine that the PlayStation 5 would be fully revealed in some point at that window, maybe at the end. Not exactly sure, but it notes the event will allow fans to celebrate 25 years of play with a collection of titles on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR. It's taking place at Sony Square in the Big Apple. That would be New York City for those of you not in the know. Details on the event are rather slim, but its timing definitely has a lot of people interested. PlayStation 5 is going to be the thing the majority of people are going to link this to. And do note that the PlayStation 4 reveal event, I believe, also took place in New York City, so it is kind of coming together on that end as well. That PlayStation 5 reveal event you would think would be happening in February, and it would be happening sometime rather soon. Look, Microsoft is already getting the ball rolling on the Xbox Series X. They debuted it at a big platform at the VGAs, the Video Game Awards, where you already inherently have a ton of gamers watching it. Sony's got to get the rollout on it as well. Although Sony, I don't know what it is, they could do these little teases and it spreads like wildfire. The Xbox Series X got a lot of attention, but not the level of attention that a freaking logo reveal for the PlayStation 5 got. That, I think, surprised me more than anything. And just looking at the numerical data on that, how 5 million people like that photo on Instagram, there's like north of 130,000 comments on it. Those social media numbers are ridiculous. Now, social media numbers don't always correlate with the amount of excitement and the amount of people that are going to buy the game. It's not always a one-to-one conversion. However, it is good data to note, and if there is social media awareness of a platform, hey, that's just more advertising, and the fact that a logo reveal could generate that level of excitement, that is insane to me. So what is going to happen when we get a console reveal? What is going to happen when we get game reveals? You would think that would be a lot greater than just a logo reveal, but there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding this. It could be totally unrelated with this event regarding the PlayStation 5. However, an experienced PlayStation event right now is obviously going to get people talking and thinking that it's going to have something to do with the PlayStation 5, at least at some point during this window of January 14th to February 16th. This is an event posted on Sony's site rather than PlayStation, so it's possible this won't necessarily have anything to do with the potential PlayStation meeting about PS5, although the timing is pretty suspect, and hopefully we'll hear more in the coming days. Now, an event that you would think Sony would reveal a lot about the PlayStation 5, an event that they revealed a lot about the PlayStation 4, is E3. E3 of 2013 was a big venue for the PlayStation 4 and information reveal. We got the look of the console at that event, we got the price point, we got the confirmation that used games were going to be a thing. That E3 2013 press conference from Sony was monumental in really establishing Sony's PlayStation 4 as one of the premier consoles, and now it's very concerning that Sony looks to completely forego on E3, and that really spells bad things for E3 2020 as a whole and E3 as a media event. Jason Schreier tweeted out this: E3 is in the worst shape it's ever been. Last year it was half empty, and that was before they doxed thousands of attending journalists, so Sony skipping again would make total sense. I'd expect them to announce their own big PS5 events instead. Daniel Ahmad, who is a very notable insider, also tweeted out, should hear more about this today. So Sony's E3 plan should be coming out rather soon. This is around the time where you hear those E3 plans coming out. I'm sure Sony could get the information roll out to the public eye without E3. Look, they revealed a goddamn logo and it got 5 million likes on Instagram. They can announce information at their own event and it's gonna spread like wildfire. They don't necessarily need E3. However, I always had this nostalgic attachment with Sony, PlayStation, and E3. Some of the best E3 press conferences ever, some of the worst E3 press conferences ever, but some of the greatest moments in E3 history were coming from PlayStation. Whether it be 500 $599 US, whether it be the used games on PS4 or everything in between. There have been so many phenomenal moments happening at PlayStation's E3 conferences. Hell, the reveal of the Final Fantasy VII Remake was enormous, and for Sony to not be a part of E3 anymore, look, maybe they realize we can do our own events, we could do our PlayStation experiences, we could do our State of Play, mini conferences, and that'll get the message across just as well, and we'll be the only ones there. When you're fighting for E3 airtime, look, you're fighting against Microsoft, you're fighting against Nintendo at times. They do a big direct usually as a part of E3, and you've got all of the other third-party publishers to go against. There is just so much stuff being announced during E3 that a lot of stuff is going to get lost in the shuffle, and why do that big event at E3 where you're going to do this huge information rollout where you can keep people attached to the PlayStation brand year-round with news when you have various State of Play updates, when you have bigger events like the PlayStation meeting event that I'm sure will happen at some point. And I can understand from a Sony standpoint, but from a selfish personal standpoint, man, for E3 not to be what it was, that is going to be a bummer. Maybe some of you guys don't have that level of attachment to E3 that I do, but again, going back and remembering all of those classic Sony PlayStation E3 conferences, there are some iconic moments, and for that not to happen anymore, for E3 not to be a big destination event for gamers, I mean, it's gonna be around. I'm sure EA is gonna be there. I'm sure Ubisoft is gonna be there. But look at E3 in 2019. It was a little bit of a lukewarm event. I thought of nothing with EA's show. I didn't really dig Ubisoft's show. Microsoft's show wasn't that great. And for Sony to be pulled, Nintendo isn't doing traditional conferences either. They are doing directs, and usually they're pretty good. But E3 is losing a lot of the luster that it used to have, and I'm not gonna lie, for me that is a little bit of a bummer. If this does indeed transpire, this would be the second consecutive year in which PlayStation will play no role at E3. Sony's decision to pull out from attending the Los Angeles-based convention was quite baffling at the moment, but I personally found a lot of sense into it because last year, what games were they gonna reveal? They're working on a lot of PlayStation 5 games. Everybody already knew about Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. In the background, I'm sure Santa Monica is working on God of War 2. I'm sure Guerrilla Games is working on Horizon 2. I'm sure all of these other studios that they have at their helm, hell, the Insomniac games that they acquired, I'm sure they're working on Marvel Spider-Man 2 or a new Ratchet & Clank, whatever the case may be. I'm sure Bluepoint is working on something really compelling, but it wasn't a timely time for those games to be announced at last year's E3. This year's E3, on the other hand, would be a great time, but with Sony's absence from it, with a lot of other journalists not being a part of E3, I think E3 is going to be losing a lot of its luster, and I think instead what we're going to be getting more of is other events being a little bit more notable, a PAX East, a PAX West. Maybe we get more information rollouts at then, and again, I do imagine Sony is going to bolster their yearly lineup with their own events. Maybe they'll return at E3 at some point. But at this point, E3 is looking like to be more of a diminishing stock, so to speak. And if Sony pulls out of E3, let's say in the future, maybe Microsoft even pulls out, it's always a case with E3, rising tides lift all boats, and if you get rid of the heavy hitters, well, E3 as a whole isn't going to be as compelling of an event, and I do have to say that's a little bit of a bummer, but we should hear official news on that very soon. A lot of these publishers and developers figure out their E3 plans right around this time, and within the next couple of weeks, I mean, Daniel Ahmad is saying that we're going to hear something about this today, and we'll keep you guys posted on that, but kind of a bummer to me, but let's hope we hear more about Sony's own dedicated events rather soon, and hopefully they'll still have a presence in terms of creating these huge spectacle events where gamers do congregate together and they watch live streams, they put their input on social media, because I do think that's important. Sure, some people say some ridiculous stuff and their input isn't really that valuable, but I think from a Sony standpoint, they want to hear what the consumers are saying. They're not going to drop off the face of the planet and be like, okay, we're just going to roll out our games, we're just going to throw up some trailers. No, I think from their standpoint, they definitely do want to hear what consumers say, and that goes back to like PlayStation Plus offerings and things like that. Sony is aware of what consumers say. I think they do try to be a little bit selective because some people do, again, say some ridiculous stuff, but nonetheless, hopefully all of this does work out. So that's going to conclude this video. Again, Sony has got an Experience PlayStation event scheduled January 14th until February 16th. We may hear something about the PlayStation 5 in the midst of that. The timing of all of this seems rather suspect, and again, Sony PlayStation is rumored to announce soon that it is skipping E3 of 2020. That would make E3 of this year, once again, rather big of a bummer, especially considering their absence last year was definitely felt pretty hard. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.